PC Amateur Guy here. Today I'm building on this case, Ryzen Ophion Elite, and gonna get right into it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is take this out. Take all take the whole thing apart, right? And this is just where the radiator. This can go up to 280 rad here. So you just want to remove the 4 screws, the 2 top screws, and 2 top screws in the bottom. And then for these ones, it's just basically the side ones are just unscrew these, and then they come out. And then there's also 2 of these other screws here that they have these big screws here, like this, and you just have to unscrew those. And basically, it's just a snap-on. And so you have a 360 view. And first thing I did was I installed the SFX. I think it's best to put in a FSX power supply. And essentially, you gotta screw these. You gotta use the adapter that comes in the box. So you screw these things first, and then you gotta put it through the case, and then you gotta attach it to the case here. And then these are the 4 screws. Just gotta line it up and then screw it back in. So do that, and then this FSX, actually I got this from the next H1 V2 version. It's actually pretty good because the cables are a lot shorter. So for this, because you know the next H1, the cables are obviously a lot shorter, so it's a lot better. You can put an ATX power supply into this, but I don't recommend it because there's going to be a lot of cables, and its cable management is going to be bad. And the more clutter you put into a smaller FSX case, it's going to create a lot more hot heat. And when you're installing this, try to put the 16 whatever this power pin is. Try to put this on top as standing up as close, because then you have to pin this into the motherboard, and to be honest, it might not even fit. So I might have to use an adapter, but I have an adapter, so that's not going to be a problem. What I really like about this FSX case, coming from next H1V2 version, is the cables are a lot shorter, as you can see. So it's going to save a lot. It's going to create a lot less air restriction because the cables are a lot shorter than the average SFX power supply. And so I'm just going to install the power supply now. Excuse me, the motherboard now, and then the GPU, and then I should be basically done. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I got the motherboard in nicely. So I'm just gonna plug it. Actually, the power supply thing actually is perfect distance. Perfect actually. So I'm just gonna plug all this in. Okay, see if I can do this. One hand. Okay, I'm just gonna try to plug everything in, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I was able to put the power supply power in there, the CPU cable, the HD audio, and I just put in the power switch there, and it's actually perfect because the power cable just fit because I try to put it closest to the motherboard. And yeah, so that's perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is install this 1080 Ti hybrid into this system. What's good about this case is there's no what do you call it, the extension cable. I'm not using the right terminology, but there's no like GPU the extension cable for that, so it just goes directly to the motherboard. So that's one of the best things about this case. And you can fit like an exhaust fan here, 140 or 120. You can fit two fans here, 120 or 140. And you can also fit a 140 down here. It comes with a Molex fan. I might like just change it, but if you ever want to take the bottom out, just pull this one here and pull one here, and it just snaps off very, very easily. And there's also an RGB controller down here as well, which you can connect to the motherboard. Now the thing with these things, to be honest, I wouldn't worry about the case fans. You can always install it last. Obviously, if the computer doesn't work, the fans are pointless, right? So I'm gonna install the GPU first, and then I'm just gonna turn this baby on, and if it works, then I'm just gonna install the PC, the fans on another day. So I'm gonna do that right now. Be right back. Okay, so just installed this the graphics card, and you know it just snapped on, which is cool. Let's screw it on top there, and then I'm gonna install one of these fans somewhere. I'll figure that out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have to lift this up a little bit so the holes line up, and then you can just screw through there. And then this is FSX power supply from the Nex. It's actually perfect because the cable length actually is actually a little bit longer than expected actually. But imagine putting an ATX power supply in here. It's going to be pretty tight. So the trick for this case is to use an FSX power supply is the best. And then I have the SATA cable left. I gotta find a Molex connector so I can connect up the RGB down here. This is the RGB here, and then I have one extra PCI slot, so it's actually perfect. There's no need for cable management. So I'm just gonna need to install this. I try to put it through here, but it doesn't really work, and I can't really put a radiator through here either because it's just not. It's too tight. So you can only put fans, the two fans here, and another fan back here. Yeah, and you're gonna probably have to do some tying of cables so that it doesn't get to touch the fan here. So 1, 2, 3, and also put a 80mm fan up here as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can change the fan at the bottom, which is 5. Again, it's just pulling this part and this part at the same time, and it just comes out very nice and easy. I tucked all the ARGB Molex cables all underneath already, because I don't want to get that in the way. So I just need to install this. I'm going to install this into this here, which is supposed to be for a 280 or 240 mil rad, and then I'm pretty much done. So I'm going to do that now. Be right back. Okay, so I installed the rad and I did the fan for intake. It's just in general, whenever you do intake, it's always better. But this case is going to will actually be blowing air inside the case, which is going to make it hot. I'm going to have probably two intake fans here, and then this one will be exhaust. And I'm going to go with an exhaust up here, and this will be intake. So I can actually this can fit a 280 AIO. You can see these holes here. So I can actually put in another 140. There's lots of room here to put another 140, and I might just do. Yeah, I'm probably going to go with intake. So the air will flow in to the CPU and keep the VRM cooler, and that would be good for airflow. So intake, exhaust on the top. I'm just gonna have one exhaust fan. I think that's the best way to go. Yeah, so I think that's the best. So I just need to can basically connect this, and I'm good to go. So I'm gonna connect this to the case, and I'm pretty much done. and just power this baby on and see if it works. Be right back. I'm back. So originally I had this rad in the bottom, but I actually just rotated it and put it on top. It's because this tubing I can't push it in because of this power supply. That's another reason why you should use SFX. So I just was able to put this a lot higher, and then I just put the tubes down here, and then this one I'm just pushing it in here. It's really tight, to be honest. And then I'm gonna see if I can close the case. So these are the two cases on the side. They're actually the same, so it doesn't matter which one you use when you put it back. So I'm just gonna see if I can close the case. And you just have to snap it on there. So I'll be right back. Let's see if I can close the case. So I was able to close the case. So it's pretty tight. But I just want to say I can close the case, so that's good. I'm going to power this on to see if it works. Be right back. Okay, plugged it in. Honestly, I'm not seeing any lights, so that doesn't look good. But let's plug in the HDMI cable. Who knows? Maybe it's on. Maybe it's because of all the clutter. It's on. Maybe it's not on. Who knows? We're gonna find out. And I'm gonna turn this baby on. Yes, it's on. Game on, baby. So there you have it. Let me turn this on. Oh, I'm gonna have to plug in a USB keyboard and mouse. So be right back. Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, this case is amazing. Everything fits. The trick for this case is just make sure you use an FFX power supply. Yeah, that's the main thing. And you know what? Honestly, probably might be able to put in another like 120 AIO cooler in here. I doubt it, but it would be tight. But I might be able to put in an AIO 120. There's room there. But if you can use custom cables somehow, even like a right angle PC cable, it might be a lot better for clutter. But the trick is the power supply here. You want to use the smallest FSX power supply with maybe custom cables. Yeah, right now it's not even on, man. With this 1080 Ti, the thing was that the power supply, the fan, it's a 3-pin fan, and it doesn't actually turn on unless the GPU is hot. I know the case is not open, but let's just check, see if we can, just for fun. I'm gonna run a Cinebench, to see what this looks like. Start the multi-core, so I'll let that run, and then I'm gonna put on HW monitor, and I'm gonna just close some of this stuff up here. Who cares about that? 1080 Ti. Okay, I'm gonna probably have to turn some lights off because you can't see anything, right? Can you? There we go. Just need to zoom in. So the CPU is at 94 degrees. It was at 69 earlier. 1080 Ti is 28 degrees because of the hybrid. only thing that's on right now is the FSX power supply, fan, and the CPU. So I'm gonna turn the light back on. You can't really like hear it. It's pretty cool. And see again, this fan doesn't go on unless the 1080 Ti is hot. So that's a good thing about the hybrid. It's actually pretty cool. So it's at 95 degrees now. Okay. So it's probably gonna survive at 95. Let me see if I can turn on a game. See what the temperatures are. Okay, I'm just gonna turn on Callisto protocol. Actually, I can hear it now. It's not that loud, but you can hear the CPU fan running. So ideally, I'm gonna try to get this rad in the bottom somehow if I can. So I can put another like 140 on top, so that will cool the VRM. Because right now no air is going in there. So I'm just turning on a quick game and just minimize temperatures here. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, so it's just loading up. So I'll let that load. So while that's loading and the Cinebench is running, so I can put another. Sorry for the focus there. I can put another 2 more fans here. So probably gonna put 140s here for intake, and the bottom one I'm probably gonna change it to a 140 intake, and then this side here I'm gonna put a 140 exhaust. I can feel it's actually kind of hot here right now because of the CPU. So I can put this as a 140 here. That would be exhaust, and then I'm gonna put another 80mm fan up here from the top, from the bottom there. I can put another 80 to exhaust that out. So that would give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, essentially 6 fans. So I'll need to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fans. So 1, 2, 3 in the ball, 4, 5 fans. Yeah, probably gonna go with 140s in RGB. Be quiets. So I'll just have another video on that. And loading this game up. Just gonna continue quickly. Callisto protocol. Yeah, wow, look at that. The graphics are amazing. It's looking good. 1080 Ti. So I'm just gonna exit this. So that ran with no problems. Exit this. Cinebench. It's running. It's probably gonna close around 15,000, 16,000. So that's what it's gonna be. I would just say 16,000. Let's do a quick speed test. Yeah, Wi-Fi is working good. About 300 megabytes down. Okay. I'm not too concerned about that. And I'm just going to check my temperatures. Wow, look at that. The GPU was running at like 48 degrees, so that's a good reason why you want to like a hybrid 1080 Ti. And Cinebench basically 95 degrees, so it works. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my next video, part 2. Oh, GPU fan, it's actually running now. You can see it's spinning now because the GPU is getting hot, so it's there. So probably gonna add some fans to this, get the RGB going, and stay tuned for part 2. Thanks for watching.